Wow. Google just dropped some seriously impressive numbers in their latest earnings report.
Impressive is an understatement.
Right, over $88 billion in revenue. Just for Q3.
Hard to wrap your head around that kind of money.
Seriously, think about it. That's like earning over $1 million
Yeah.
every 10 minutes.
It's mind-boggling, even for a giant like Google.
Absolutely. But you know, what I find really interesting isn't just the size of those numbers.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the story behind them.
Right.
What's actually driving this growth?
Well, in a word, AI.
AI.
CEO Sundar Pichai himself said AI is having a profound impact.
And you can see it everywhere in the report, right?
Everywhere.
So how is AI actually moving the needle for Google?
Well, it's really fueling growth in some of their most crucial areas, like search and cloud.
Okay, so search first. I mean, we all use Google search, right?
Of course.
But how's AI changing that experience?
Well, think about how much more personalized your search results have become.
You mean how Google seems to know exactly what I'm looking for?
Exactly. That's AI at work.
So it's not just about finding websites anymore.
No, it's about getting those really specific answers, tailored to you,
Right.
anticipating your needs, refining the algorithms, all thanks to AI.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about the cloud side of things?
Well, Google's AI solutions are attracting a whole new wave of customers in the cloud space.
Businesses.
Businesses, they're using Google's AI tools to automate tasks, analyze data.
And make smarter decisions.
Oh, exactly.
So it's a two-pronged growth engine for Google then?
Yeah.
Powering both their consumer products like search
Right?
and their enterprise offerings in the cloud.
Precisely. And there's this one detail that really stood out to me in the report.
What's that?
Well, it says that the Gemini app team, they're moving to Google DeepMind.
Yeah, I noticed that too. What do you think that means?
Well, to me, it signals a real commitment to integrating their most advanced AI across the board.
Because DeepMind is the AI powerhouse, right?
Exactly. Known for their groundbreaking work.
So it's like they're consolidating their AI brain power
Yeah.
to accelerate the development of even more innovative AI-powered tools.
Makes sense.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about the AI angle,
Uh-huh.
but let's get into the nitty-gritty of the financials for a minute.
Okay.
The report says revenue grew 15% year over year
Yeah. An impressive 15% growth.
to reach that massive $88 billion mark we talked about.
It is pretty incredible.
So where's all that money coming from? What are the main revenue sources?
Well, the bulk of it, about $76.5 billion, comes from Google services.
Google services.
Yeah, which includes search, YouTube, and subscriptions.
Right.
That's a 13% increase from the same time last year.
So those core businesses are still going strong.
Absolutely. Even in today's tech landscape.
Right, right. But what really jumped out at me was Google Cloud.
Oh, yeah.
35% jump in revenue to $11.4 billion.
Huge growth there.
That's a significant acceleration compared to what they've reported in the past.
Absolutely. And I think it shows just how strategic Google Cloud is becoming.
Well, and especially their AI infrastructure.
Yes.
Generative AI solutions, too.
Oh, for sure.
And, of course, their core GCP products.
Right.
I mean, it seems like they're really well positioned to capitalize on this whole AI boom that's happening.
They are.
Okay, so we've got revenue soaring,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't forget about profitability.
We can't.
And despite all the economic uncertainty out there,
Yeah.
Google actually managed to increase its operating income by a whopping 34%.
Very impressive.
And their operating margin expanded by 4.5 percentage points.
Wow.
So they're not just growing, they're becoming more efficient.
They are.
What's their secret? How are they doing this?
Well, it's a combination of factors, but I think their focus on efficiency is a key part of it.
Okay, but how does that translate into actual actions?
Well, for example, they incurred some office-based charges this quarter.
Office-based charges.
Yeah. A total of $607 million.
What does that tell us?
Well, it suggests that they're optimizing their real estate footprint.
You mean downsizing?
Well, potentially. Maybe consolidating offices. Embracing remote work trends.
Reduce costs.
To reduce costs.
Yeah.
And streamline operations.
Right. And then there were those employee severance costs that were mentioned.
Yes.
Tough decisions, obviously.
They are.
But it seems like they're really focused on aligning their workforce
right.
with their strategic priorities.
Exactly. Making sure they have the right people and the right roles.
Especially in those key areas like AI and cloud.
Exactly.
So it's not just about cutting costs. It's about making sure those resources
Yeah.
are being invested in the areas with the highest growth potential.
Exactly. pruning to make sure the strongest branches flourish.
Love that analogy. And
Yeah.
speaking of flourishing, YouTube had quite a quarter.
They did.
Hit a pretty significant milestone, actually. Their total ad and subscription revenue,
Yes.
it exceeded $50 billion over the past year.
For the first time.
For the first time ever.
Huge.
That's amazing.
It is. It shows they're really good at finding those innovative ways to monetize their massive user base.
Right. And solidifying their position as a leader in online video.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got AI fueling growth in search and cloud,
Uh-huh.
remarkable efficiency,
Yeah.
driving profitability,
It is.
and YouTube hitting record revenue.
Impressive stuff.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. It shows how adaptable Google is,
Right.
how they're constantly innovating.
And really shaping the future of technology as we know it.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, how is all this efficiency actually playing out in their day-to-day operations?
Ah, that's a great question.
What are they doing behind the scenes to make this happen?
Well, let's dive into that after a quick break.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be right back.
We'll be back. So before the break, we were talking about Google's impressive profitability.
And their commitment to efficiency.
Right. It's a masterclass in how to allocate resources strategically and maintain operational discipline.
You mentioned those office space charges earlier.
I did.
$607 million for the quarter.
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind that?
Well, I think it really points to a strategic shift
Okay,
in how they manage their physical footprint.
so you're saying they're optimizing their real estate,
Exactly.
maybe consolidating offices,
Perhaps.
maybe embracing remote work trends even more,
Could be.
all to reduce costs and streamline their operations.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about physical space.
No.
They also talked about those employee severance costs.
Right.
Again, tough decisions.
Absolutely.
But it does show a focus on aligning their workforce with their strategic goals.
And making sure they have the right people
Right.
in the right roles to really execute their vision.
Especially in those key areas like AI and cloud.
Exactly.
So it's not just about cutting costs, it's about freeing up capital,
Yeah.
reinvesting it
Yes.
in those areas with the highest growth potential.
It's like doubling down on their bets for the future.
I love that. And speaking of doubling down, YouTube had quite a quarter.
They really did. Another milestone.
Their ad and subscription revenue topped $50 billion over the past year
It did.
for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. It really speaks to their ability to keep innovating,
Right.
to keep people engaged,
Yeah.
which of course translates to more ad revenue and subscriber growth.
It does.
They've also been successful in diversifying their revenue, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. With YouTube Premium and YouTube TV,
Right.
it just shows how good they are at adapting to changing consumer habits and staying ahead of the curve.
When it comes to online video.
For sure.
Now, let's not forget about their core business, though.
Search.
Search, their bread and butter. How are those services doing?
Still performing incredibly well.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that's their solid foundation.
Right.
It's where they generate a ton of their revenue.
Makes sense.
They keep refining the algorithms, introducing new features, making the user experience better and better,
Right.
which in turn keeps those ad dollars coming in.
Okay. We hope you learned something new today.
And that it sparks some interesting thoughts.
About the power of technology, the future of AI, and the role that companies like Google play in shaping our world.
Absolutely.
And that's it for this episode. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.